Amazon search engine optimization. You hear this phrase thrown around quite a bit from a lot of the self-publishing experts. Well, I'm going to demystify some of this process and give you a better understanding of the simplicity but yet complexities of Amazon search engine optimization for your self-published books. So make sure you stay tuned. This is Self-Publishing with Dale, where you learn to publish books that sell and build an unstoppable brand. Before we jump into things, I want to hear, what do you think is the most difficult part of publishing books on Amazon? Let me know your candid thoughts inside the comments, and make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to share just a little bit of some of the best practices to further increase your placement on the first page in the search engine. But what is search engine optimization anyway? Well, I think we all can agree that we know exactly what search engines are. We go over to a particular website, be it Google, be it Amazon, be it YouTube, we type into that search engine a query that will bring up relevant results. And if you noticed one key word that I just said, relevancy. There we go. So we're talking about search engine optimization. We should always toss in the word relevancy because relevancy is key to getting yourself brought up in search traffic regardless of the website they're utilizing. And quite frankly, Amazon, yes, is an online retailer, but ultimately they function best through their search engine algorithm. Now, algorithms, of course, is a very delicate way of putting this would be saying it's just a very complex math situation based on particular variables of the customers buying, searching, engaging, and so on and so forth. They will actually be served something based on an outcome. So what exactly bears relevancy? Well, there's a few things that you can actually count on that will bring up relevancy of your book within the Amazon search engine algorithm. That's keywords, engagement, and activity. Now, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to go ahead and spout their theories about how the search engine works and how it functions on Amazon, but ultimately, the team that knows it best is going to be the Amazon algorithm team, also known as A9. You may recognize the term A9 based on my conversation with the Kindlepreneur himself, Dave Chesson. And if you do a little bit of digging about, you actually find a website for A9, but unfortunately, they're not really forthcoming with the information about what does and what doesn't work on their search engine to really get it to where you're maximizing the most from the information. So we have to kind of piecemeal a lot of this information together based on some people's track record and their success in the Amazon ethos. So ultimately, what are some of the best practices for search engine optimizing a book? That way we really get it to where we're being served up to our ideal audience and ultimately they're buying our product. But before I get into this, I want to give a fair warning on this. There actually are two solid metrics that work to tie all of these things together to get it to work. And I'm going to mention this a little bit closer to the end of the video because I think it's important that we don't put the cart in front of the horse. We have to understand the intricacies of what makes a book more successful on the Amazon platform. Keywords. I've talked about keywords ad nauseum on this channel. Ultimately, a keyword is a single word or a string of words to describe what your ideal audience is searching for on the Amazon platform. As an example, you could have something as simple as WEREBEAR Shapeshifter Romance. There's going to be an audience that's specifically looking for WEREBEAR Shapeshifter Romance. Conversely speaking, in another realm, someone can look up, say, workout plan. But herein lies the problem is that keyword's so broad that it's going to bring in a larger audience. Is it a workout plan for seniors? Is it a workout plan for teenagers? Because we can all agree that a workout plan for teenagers and seniors aren't going to be the same thing. So we're going to start to niche that keyword down to say it could be a gym workout plan for men over 55. You can see how keywords can make or break the success of your book because you don't want to have keywords that aren't related to your book. And once again, we're going to come back to relevancy. Because if you've got a keyword attached to your book that has no relevancy to your audience, you're going to either A, get a lot of people visiting your page and clicking away, or B, worse yet, they buy your product, discover it wasn't what they were looking for, and give you low reviews. Impressions, clicks, and buys, oh my. Now, previously I said inside this video that it has a lot to do with activity and engagement, and these few little metrics actually help to add up in the bigger picture of creating relevancy for your book on the Amazon platform. So let's say that someone is searching up your book through a given keyword. We're going to kind of circle back around to say WEREBEAR, SHAPESHIFTER, romance, and your book is brought up. That's what's called an impression. So as the search engine scrapes through and says, okay, these are the most relevant products to this particular keyword, and people get to scroll through, that's what's called an impression. So as your book's being served up, oh, there we go. Now, here's where it gets kind of interesting. To make your book a bit more relevant, you need to get that click. What creates the click and what creates the most enticing reason for a person to further explore? Well, naturally, a really good cover is going to be one of the ways that someone goes, huh. And of course, a killer title will help you out as well. But if you can really get book covers dialed in, people are going to get the impressions and hopefully stop on your product, click on that page, and visit that page. But what's better than getting impressions and clicks? Well, come on, folks. Buys. When people buy your product, that further increases relevancy, and of course, we all know that it increases your bestseller ranking on the Amazon platform, further pushing you up in the relevancy for your given keywords. All right, so this one is a given. Reviews and community engagement. Okay, some people have probably confused what I've shared before, where I say, don't worry so much about reviews, but reviews actually can and will help out in the success of relevancy on the Amazon search engine. And that's why I say reviews should still be part of your overall business model. It's just unfortunately, years past, it used to be the only thing people focused on. They would try to get hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of reviews. And unfortunately, that's great, but ultimately, that's not the best business model to go about. And I'm going to share why, because those two metrics I told you I'm going to mention here towards the end of the video is why you're going to want to make sure that reviews is an ancillary part. It is an important part, but nonetheless, it needs to be part of that. Now, furthermore, a review can be popped into there. What helps out with those reviews are a few other things. Verified purchase versus unverified purchase reviews. Okay, so there's two different types of reviews. The people that have bought your product and it's proven through Amazon, and the people who haven't bought your product and claim to have bought your product and leave a review. Now, there's a lot of speculation, and you can probably search up anywhere on Amazon about the value of verified purchase versus the unverified purchases. But ultimately, I think we can all agree that Amazon really likes to see that you have purchased their product through their platform. So I believe, and this is my theory, that verified purchase reviews carry a bit more weight than the unverified purchase reviews. This is kind of a way to kind of say we can't game the system necessarily as much doing an unverified purchase review. So you can always just be like, hey, Tommy, why don't you go and leave me a review? Well, I don't have your book. That's cool. You can just go ahead. If you've got review privileges, go ahead and pop it on there, which I don't recommend, by the way, folks. Keywords within the review. Oh, here comes keywords again. Of course, naturally, this is another way that it's going to bring in more eyes to your particular product. And if your customer organically puts it within their review, naturally, it's going to help out in search engine optimization. I highly recommend do not coach up people on how to do your reviews or what they need to say, because it's, first of all, going to be in violation of their terms of service and their community guidelines. So you want to make sure you're staying within that. That's why it's important that if somebody leaves a review, they leave it organically, some keywords that are related to your book, that's going to help out in search engine optimization. Furthermore, people within the community that actually have review privileges can comment on those reviews, and also the other metric is to vote for it being helpful. There used to be the not helpful feature, but they have since removed that, and reviews can only be left as is or put down as helpful by the community, another metric that further adds to engagement within the Amazon community. Social shares. There is a very good reason Amazon perfectly places social sharing buttons on a product page. They want the audience, the browsing audience, and the customers to share the products, because naturally, if you share it over to Facebook or Twitter, someone sees that, they reshare it, or they come over to that product page and buy that product. This further aids in search engine optimization, because again, it sends a little signal over to the Amazon algorithm where it's like, oh, there's some kind of relevancy. There's some kind of popularity in this particular product. There might be some relevancy to this product, to its given keywords. Additional indexing. Rather than me going and regurgitating the same information I've given you before, I actually have a full video playlist series about Amazon Author Central for authors. There are many people that don't want to go through the extra steps to set up an Amazon Author Central account, but I highly recommend you consider it for further indexing your content. So if you've got one book or even 40 books, Amazon Author Central is a way that you can gather them all into one place, and also helps you in guiding other people. Let's say you're at a cocktail party or you're at a barbecue. You can mention to them, hey, just search up Dale L. Roberts. You'll find me on Amazon, and I actually have a full Author Central page you can check out and see all of my catalog. And one of the really cool things is it's just another way to further edify and raise up your particular author platform. So I highly recommend, when you got the opportunity, go back over and review my entire playlist series on Amazon Author Central, and I'll leave the link in the description below to those videos. Okay. This has been a lot of talk, and maybe, hopefully you're not glossing over by now. I told you there's going to be 2 invaluable metrics when it comes to Amazon search engine optimization to your self-published book brand. Metric number 1, balance. All of those key features I mentioned, from the keywords to the reviews to the Author Central and so much more, require a balance. As I kind of mentioned before in the review gathering process, I told you that the authors before used to gather reviews, and they didn't spend enough time on the other metrics. And what ends up happening, it becomes unfairly balanced. You're not focusing on what are the keywords that are driving people in there. How can you build relevancy to that? What else can you do to further optimize your listing on Amazon? Metric number 2, consistency. Consistency is key. Again, I'm going to go back over to the whole review gathering process. Some people will go for an incredible book launch. They'll have hundreds, if not thousands, of downloads within the course of a day, or purchases of their print book. But that is good for short-term success. Ultimately, though, the Amazon algorithm seems to enjoy and prefer consistency. Consistency is key. So it's better that you, instead of having 100 downloads in a given day, 10 downloads per day over the course of, say, 90 days. It's going to be consistency. Now, nothing wrong with you doing 100 downloads or purchases within a given day for the next 90 days. Overall, it's all about consistency, and especially when it comes to things like keywords that match with your brand, impressions, clicks, and buys, reviews coming in on a regular basis, social shares. That is what it all comes down to. So metric number 1, balance. Metric number 2, consistency. But the next thing is, how do you increase your book sales? I've got more information for you. In fact, it's in this very next video, so I'm going to need you to go on over and join me over there so we can further break this down. I'll see you there. Sadly, the days of publishing and praying for the best have come to an end. We can no longer just find this hot niche, put it out onto the market, and